Problem. Good morning, ladies. Testing, testing, testing the microphone. Can you hear me? I can't hear anyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, we can. Good morning, ma.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Grace, is that
Yes, ma.
you? How come it's only me in the meeting?
Ma, there are two others in the meeting.
Oh, somehow. Okay, I see participants. Okay, attendees two, panelists two. What is that? All right. Let me mute my mic then. Thank you.
Okay, ma.
Hello, Afne?
Hello, sis.
Okay, you need to mute your mic, everybody.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, but mute your mic when you're taking my call.
Okay.
But we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Connie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to be sure that we are all together. Okay,
All
thank
right.
you. Hello, Connie, can you please give us your profile? We don't have your profile yet.
Yes, I'm typing it out now.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Hello, sis. Yes. Yes, I have. Uh-oh.
Please, why can't I see myself?
Hold on. Christabel, I can see.
Okay, you can see me. I can't see myself. Oh.
Christabel,
Yes?
please, the agenda that I gave you, how far?
Yes, I'm still trying to fine tune it. Oh. No, we're supposed to have a meeting now. What about the WhatsApp call?
Maybe I guess Asia tried to join you. I tried to add you. She couldn't. Just hold on, hold on.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, good morning. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Morning, please confirm if you can hear me. Thank you.
Good morning, DG. We can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
Christopher, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes, I can. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock and the webinar starts by 12. So just give like, we have 14 right now in the house. We'll give like a grace period of 12:03 or 12:04, we should start the webinar. Is that okay by everyone? Hello, Connie
Yes,
Dunia
that's okay.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see you. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. I think before the webinar starts, if you have any expectation for this meeting, I think you can put it on your chats. What you expect from the outcome of this, from the team of the webinar. If you have any expectation, you can just put it on the chat box, and we'll read it out during the webinar. Okay, with the permission of the National Chairperson, Maritime Section, Mrs. Ruth Chukwukezirim, can I proceed with the webinar? Hello, Mrs. Ruth, are you there?
Yes, please, we can go on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, whatever part of the world you are tuning into this webinar. I will especially welcome you to the webinar. I'm Engineer Kocha Christabel, an Assistant Manager with the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and I'll be moderating this section. I will not be alone handling this section. With me as we go along, we'll introduce other moderators. As we all know, we'll start the section with an opening prayer, and we'll take the opening prayer and the national anthem together, which will also be our opening prayer. So if you know the national anthem, you can unmute yourself and join us, or if not, I'll just take it through as our opening prayers. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigeria all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol, that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. So help us, God. Amen. Again, welcome everyone. Next on our agenda, we'll be having for every webinar, we always have a safety brief. It's a norm in Women in Energy, Oil and Gas to have a safety brief. And we'll be taking our safety brief. I also do the honor to take the safety brief. Now, as actors in the maritime, energy, oil and gas sector, we all know that safety remains our watchword. Therefore, it is pertinent that you are familiar with some essentials of safety briefings. As part of this virtual meeting, safety attendees attendees are encouraged to drop their contact information with the host in the case of an emergency. You're also to ensure that electrical gadgets you are using for this virtual meeting, such as phones or laptops, have been disconnected from the power source. Also, avoid driving while on call. Please remember to check your blood pressure and sugar level periodically to avoid casualties at work. Remember to always carry water bottle and emergency healthy snacks in your bag to stay energized throughout the day and also through this webinar. Always try to observe like a 30 to 1 hour break to avoid stress at work. Always get as much sleep as possible to prepare yourself for the next day. Now, on behalf of the President of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, and all the dignitaries present here, also the Chairperson of the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Maritime section, I want to welcome you all, and we hope that you have a truly enlightening and rewarding section. That's the safety brief. Before I call on the National Chairperson for the Maritime section to give her opening remarks, I would like to, her welcome address, sorry. I would like to first state some rules, meeting protocols for this webinar, just in case. Please try as much as you can to put on the mute function of your, if you're using a phone or a laptop, try to make sure it's on mute section throughout the duration of this webinar, and kindly only unmute yourself when you're called upon to use the speaker. Avoid eating chewing gum or drinking when you're speaking while on call. That's a form of courtesy to others. And also try put off your video if it's not okay. Just only put it on when your video is okay. Then use the chat box to share any question or contribution, which will also be read out at the end during the question and answer section. Alternatively, if you don't want to use the chat box, you can raise your hands, use the virtual raise hand button to raise your hands to notify the host of your intention to speak. So right now, at this moment, I'd like to call on the National Chairperson. She's no other than Mrs. Ruth, National Chairperson, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. She's in charge of the maritime sector. She is Mrs. Ruth Chukwukezirim. Mrs. Ruth, please, you're welcome to take the platform to give your welcome address, as well as also welcome and introduce the special guest of honors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Christabel. I'm so honored to have everyone here. My name is Ruth Chukwukezirim. I'm the chairperson for the midstream and marine sector of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, and I'm so delighted that we get to do this together. We are celebrating the World Maritime Day in Weog. And I would like to briefly thank everyone for joining us and tell us who we are in Weog briefly before the national president, Dr. Duni, will come and be more detailed about that. Weog is Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, an international forum where we have women across board the energy, oil and gas value chain. We have women from the upstream, midstream, and downstream all together. And some of our focal points is closing the numerous gaps in the industry. It's been said that in the whole the energy, oil, and gas sector that we have barely 20% of women participation. And Weog is positioned globally. Weog is not a Nigerian firm, it's a Nigerian association. It's a global platform where we are closing quite a lot of the numerous gaps that we have noticed due to the low participation of women in the energy, oil, and gas. We have quite a lot of them, the gender diversity, we have the knowledge gap, and then the energy gap. There are quite a whole lot that we are closing in the industry. And then for us in the midstream, you know that the midstream sector is like a bridge between the upstream and downstream. What we are doing is that we're joining both together, ensuring everything about logistics for the upstream and downstream. And specifically for this event, World Maritime Day, annually, International Maritime Organization, IMO, celebrates World Maritime Day, and this year is been tagged Navigating the Future Safety First. We know that safety cannot be overemphasized in everything we do, especially considering how critical what we do in the waters are. It's very important that safety issue is given a top priority. So this year, we are talking about safety of life, equipment, properties, everything, the lives at sea, humans, everything across safety at sea this year. And of course, same ties with UN goals of safety, climate, a whole lot. So this year we are celebrating that. And of course, you know, we are very local content people. So we are bringing it home to Africa, navigating the safety of our midstream, looking at safety issues in the maritime sector and the midstream in the oil and gas. So that is basically why we are here today. And I am so delighted to have everyone. And I'd like to especially recognize our national president, Dr. Oladuni Owo, for making this platform available. She'll soon come up to tell us more about Weog and give us her opening speech. I'd like to thank Barrister Tosan. Auntie Tosan is a top maritime lawyer and the host of annual Lagos Maritime International Week. Every year she does that. Auntie Tosan has done so much for the industry, and we are so delighted to have her here. We also have Mrs. Vivian from she's the Director General for Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, and we'll have a whole lot of other people. The minister will soon join us. They've just notified me that we should give them a little more time, that he will be here shortly. And I'd like to say welcome to every one of us here. We have quite a number of persons, and as you're coming, we'll be recognizing you. Thank you to all the energy women, closing all the numerous energy gaps, and we are moving nation forward together. Thank you so very much, and I'm glad you're here. You're welcome. Please, may we have the national president? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful speech by the National Chairperson, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. She's in charge of the maritime sector. And next on the agenda, we'll be calling on our distinguished national president of the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. She's no other person other than Dr. Oladuni Owo. Please, Dr. Oladuni Owo, if you're online, you can unmute yourself and take your opening remarks, ma'am. Hello, Dr. Oladuni, are you online? Check the chat room. Okay, she's online.
She's online. I'll probably just, let me just inform her. I'm not sure if her volume is.
Yeah, I think, okay, she's back, okay. Yes, you have the floor, our national president.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Weog members from across the world. And special good morning to the midstream and maritime sector of Weog. I'd like to start by congratulating all our midstream and maritime industry participants on the celebration of the International Maritime Day 2024. Today, Weog join the entire world to celebrate the vital contribution of the maritime industry to the global trade, economic growth, and sustainable development of the entire world economy. To all our maritime professionals, particularly our female maritime professionals, our female seafarers, I see Mrs. Koni Dunia here, and all stakeholders in the midstream and maritime sector. We thank you for your tireless efforts in helping to connect cities, in helping to connect states, in helping to connect countries, in helping to connect continents, indeed in helping to connect the entire world in fostering international cooperation through maritime logistics and midstream activities, and ensuring safe transportation of our goods, services, and humans. And particularly for the energy, oil, and gas industry, we thank you because you have ensured the safe transportation by pipeline, by trucks, by road, by rail system, and majorly by shipping of our goods and services, the PMS, the imported PMS, imported AGO, import and export activities across our energy, oil, and gas value chain. Without your activities, your midstream and maritime activities, I am sure there would be a lot of catastrophe in the entire value chain. As we navigate towards a more sustainable future, particularly for women players in this heavily male-dominated space of the industry, I'd like to use this platform this morning to encourage us to prioritize environmental stewardship, prioritize innovative technology, prioritize inclusivity and diverse communities, and particularly in alignment with this year's theme, I'd like to encourage us to prioritize safety and security. Together, we can build a brighter future for generations to come, leveraging our midstream and maritime assets and prowess. So I'd like to encourage us, for those of us that are not already, that are players in that value chain, but you're not already members of the Weog midstream and maritime sectorial group, I'd like to encourage us to be part of it. There are a lot of conversation happening there that speaks to your sustainability and growth of your career and business in that part of the industry. Without further ado, I'd like to say a big thank you to all our erudite speakers congregated here this afternoon rather, to enlighten us and enlighten our path through a more sustainable midstream and maritime futures. Special thanks to our Minister of Blue Economy and Maritime for accepting to be our special guest of honor at this celebration. We say a big thank you. And to everyone gathered here, as the conversation continues, I'd like to encourage us to please share the link with as many as possible so that they can be part of the conversation. It cuts across every one of us. And once again, I say happy International Maritime Day 2024. Congratulations to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, able President, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. We just heard from Dr. Oladuni Owo. Yeah, it's the International Maritime Day and Women in Energy, Oil and Gas is celebrating it. And as we've heard from our national president, she stressed some things. She said, the maritime industry, what does it do? It's connecting the world through our waterways via maritime logistics in a safe manner. And that is what the whole theme of this webinar is all about. We are navigating the future of Africa's midstream, which we're talking about safety first. Okay, next on the agenda, thank you so much, ma'am, for the opening remark. Next on our agenda, we'll be welcoming our minister, the Honorable Minister. I don't know if he's online. Please, can we confirm if the Honorable Minister of Marine?
No, not yet.
Okay. Please. Okay, in the absence of the Honorable Minister not being online, We'll go to the next agenda, which is the panel section. Okay, we'll take a good message, sorry. We'll start by taking good message. I don't know if you have Barrister Tosan Edodo. She's the MD of Zoe Maritimes. Is she online? Barrister Tosan Edodo?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
please,
here.
Yeah, thank you. The platform is yours, ma'am, for your good message. Welcome.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Let me start by saying that I would like to commend the Weog leadership for this webinar, and especially for the chair of the Midstream and Marine Committee for putting this whole event together. So as shipping is international business, we are directly affected by whatever happens in other parts of the world in the industry, even though we may not have been a contributor to the particular outcome. That is why we in Nigeria must continue to keep abreast of the shipping industry. The theme of this year's World Maritime Day, Navigating Shipping's Future, Safety First, is very apt and very important. Now, this theme alludes to the of shipping things as the introduction of new technology. For example, this has given rise to autonomous shipping, the use of alternative fuels in shipping, digitalization of the shipping industry that appears to reduce physical involvement of the crew in the actualization of certain tasks, and also leading to a fear of job loss. In Nigeria, we would need to step up our game. We thank God and we are excited about the establishment of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, which provides an input to focus directly on shipping in all its ramifications. By the theme of this year's World Maritime Day, we would need to expand and deepen the Deep Blue project, which in Nigeria is a primary safety project that we have in the industry. We would need to do more intentional training and the building of maritime capacity. We would need to do more on bringing women into the industry in all ramifications of shipping, and especially in areas that directly concerns safety. And in this regard, we should look on developing and empowering our female seafarers, developing and empowering our female ship owners, developing and empowering our female maritime administrators. Now, we would say, because we are a country that is developing, we are work in progress. And so that gives us, especially as women in the maritime industry, that gives us a wider opportunity for development than even our counterparts in more developed economies. So I thank Weog for opening this platform, and I thank the chair of the Marine Committee for inviting me. And I invite everyone to continue to contribute their bit to the development of the industry. Thank you very much. Thank you. And let me use the opportunity also to thank members of Weog for their active participation at the Lagos International Maritime Week. Their presence was felt, and I believe that we will continue to grow from strength to strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barrister Tosin Edodo. Thank you. I forgot to also mention, she's also the convener of the Lagos International Maritime Week, which is also a global event that she has been hosting annually. Kudos to you, Ma. Thank you so much for this welcome. Yeah, we heard you very well. You were talking about developing and empowering seafarers, the ship owners, and the maritime administration. Wonderful. Nigeria needs to catch up to the other developed countries. Thank you so much, Ma, for that wonderful speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. On this note, as I said earlier, I'm not the only one moderating the section, and we'll be welcoming my second moderator. She is no other person than the National Chairperson, External Relations Director. She's Dame Hasia Audu. So Dame Hasia Audu, if you're online, can you take over from here and handle the next section? Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you loud and clear, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much, Christabel, for coordinating thus far. Good afternoon, distinguished Amazons and possibly gentlemen on the call. My name is Hasia Hassan Audu. I am the National External Relations Director for Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Nigeria. For my day job, I work as the Senior Lead NFR with NMPC Retail. Permit me to once again welcome us all to the Weog commemoration of the International Maritime Day, which is themed Navigating the Future of Africa's Midstream Safety First. Now, to take us through the panelist session are the following erudite, valiant, hardworking, and passionate Amazons in midstream and maritime. And they are Vivian Chimezie Azubike. We also have Koni Dunia, we have Joy Shotunde, and Captain Olubukola Ayane. As I had mentioned earlier, they are erudite and they are subject matter experts. Before we get into the meat of the panelist session, we would be taking a paper presentation from some of the panelists, and we would be starting that paper presentation with a presentation from Koni Dunia, which shall run us through another 10 minutes. So I would pause for now and invite Koni Dunia, or before inviting Koni Dunia, permit me to also run through her profile. Koni Dunia started her early career as a seafarer on board LNG tankers, chartered for NLNG operations. 10 years ago, she made the transition from working at sea to working ashore within NLNG maritime roles, and she currently occupies the role of Maritime Regulatory Compliance Advisor in NLNG. She is involved in several bodies and associations within the maritime sector with the aim of ensuring Nigeria achieve her maritime potentials. In 2019, she founded the Female Seafarers Association of Nigeria, which is an advocacy and support group for younger females aspiring to have careers in the maritime industry. The creation of this group is to serve as a response to the IMO's call for inclusion of females in the maritime industry. Ladies and gentlemen on the call, let's put our virtual hands together as we welcome Koni Dunia to give her paper presentation, and her topic shall be Navigating the Future of Women Participation in Offshore Operations, Safety First. Koni Dunia, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hasia, and good afternoon and good morning, ladies, wherever you are, and thank you all for joining the call. Hasia, please confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. And also confirm you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the theme for this year's World Maritime Day is Navigating the Future, Safety First. However, the International Women in Maritime Day theme was Safe Horizons, Women Shaping the Future of Maritime Safety. And what this paper seeks to do is really glance through safety within the context of the maritime and offshore operations and the role that inevitably women will play within this sector. So a brief history of the maritime industry, as we all know and mentioned earlier, the maritime sector is really about logistics, i.e. the movement of goods, people from one place to the other. From archaeological findings, it has been proven that water transportation has been in existence dating back to 6000 BC, as proven by evidence of dugout canoe right at the top there. And this has transitioned over time into the sails, and the bottom left picture there is when the steamships came into being. The picture there depicts the engine room and where they usually would use coal for fueling. So they will burn coal and the coal would generate the steam that will move the engines. And I think around that time too, you imagine how strenuous that activity used to be. And I think it helped fuel the conversation around how working on the ship wasn't fit for women, because you imagine carrying coal all the time. But even though in our lives here in Nigeria, we see women carrying firewood, which is almost equivalent to that. However, the industry has transitioned quite a lot. And the picture at the bottom right there, you see two ladies there, that is the engine room. So you see the contrast between these two pictures. It shows you how technology has advanced. So we're not where we used to be. Things have changed, and likewise, the need for change also within the industry. So now we are in the era of all the sophisticated machineries plying the waters of the world, delivering goods, cargoes, and transporting humans as well. So brief again into maritime governance. Within the global context of maritime governance, the International Maritime Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations, which is responsible for regulating international shipping. It develops and updates regulations, guidelines, and standards relating to maritime safety, security, environmental protection, and human factors. Below are some of the critical conventions or regulations within that govern the activities within the maritime sector, which is the safety of life at sea, International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, generally called MAPOL, International Safety Management Code, the Ship and Port Facility Security Codes, and then the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping for seafarers. So these are some of the key regulations, and then somebody's muted. And then nations are expected to adopt these regulations and localize them into their local operations. So again, looking back at how the maritime regulations came about, in the past, a lot of the maritime regulations were created as a result of incidents that happened. So we have the SOLAS Convention, which is Safety of Life at Sea Convention. In its successive form, is generally regarded as the most important of all international treaties concerning the safety of merchant ships. The first version was adopted in 1914 in response to the Titanic. However, the most recent edition is was consolidated in 2024, i.e. a lot of revisions to the provisions of these regulations came into force in 2024. And this year marks the 50th year since the regulation has been enforced. So when we go to pollution prevention, there is also the Torrey Canyon, a vessel, a tanker that grounded off the coast of the UK in 1964. And she was carrying on board about 120,000 tons of oil. And you imagine all that oil being spilled into the water. That led to the MARPOL, to creation of the MARPOL Convention. So quite a number of other incidents also led to some of the other conventions and codes that were listed in the previous slides. However, in Nigeria, we're also not left out of incidents, and those ones are more recent. We had the Trinity Spirit, an FPSO that caught fire and sunk off the coast of Nigeria in 2022, I think somewhere between February and March. 10 people on board were reported missing. And then there was also the rig Majestic, which capsized in Nigeria's Delta region. One person confirmed dead, 3 missing, and that happened in 2023. And I think also there was one, I think earlier this year, there was also one incident like that. So, and this is really emphasizing on why safety is important. So on the global scale, on the global scene, we have all these regulations, but locally it's expected that the players, the regulators locally are to play their part in enforcing these regulations. Clearly, for all these incidents to happen, it means something went wrong somewhere. So progressing into where the maritime regulations are today and what is really driving it, we see that the Sustainable Development Goals are in the forefront of driving some of the changes that are happening in the maritime regulatory space. Like if you recall, the SOLAS, the latest amendment came into force in 2024, and a lot of it really is centered around improving safety of operations today. So we have the Maritime Labour Convention. This is a contrast to the previous regulations that were developed as a result of incidents. These ones are really about saying, how can we improve the quality of life of seafarers? How can we improve the educational standards of seafarers? And how can we ensure that there is decent pay, decent work environment, i.e. the ships, and then also gender inclusion within the maritime sector. On this side, on the right-hand side, the diagram here depicts the International Maritime Organization's greenhouse gas emission reduction roadmap. It has targeted that by 2050, the aim for the maritime industry is to go net zero. However, it's anticipated that by 2030, we'll be at 25% zero emission fuels and 40% improvement in energy efficiency, followed by 2040. And then hopefully by 2050, we are at net zero. And clearly you see that climate change, life below water, industry innovations and infrastructures, partnerships, these are all some of the SDG goals that are driving the net zero journey for the maritime industry. as part of their contribution to the climate change issue that the world is facing. So we go into the conversation around women, really. I think it was in 2022, the International Maritime Organization picked May 18 to be the International Day for Women in Maritime. However, in 2019, there was a general call for everyone to get on board, government, private organizations, NGOs, and everyone. A call was made for the need to include women in the maritime sector. Currently, I think this is as at 2022, there are only 29% of the overall maritime workforce that are women, and 20% of this are mostly within the national maritime authorities, and the other 2% worldwide are seafarers. And I think I can categorically say that amongst this 20%, you find that most of these women are not necessarily in the technical sector, so they are all in the other aspects of this administration, as opposed to the technical sector, because a lot of the technical roles, you find that the feed really is from seafaring. So if you have 2% seafarers, you be rest assured that the 2% within the 20% is very, very limited. Sorry, and then also the theme for this year's Women in Maritime Day is Safe Horizons, Women Shaping the Future of Maritime Safety. You would then wonder, how would women do that, or why do we think women would be able to do that? So this dived a bit into the psychological nuances between men and women. And even though they are very complex and multifaceted, we've narrowed down to at least cognitive differences, emotional differences. There's a whole lot of categorization. There's a social difference, leadership difference, and all. So it is recognized that women generally good in emotional processing. Women tend to be more emotionally expressive and empathic, while men often suppress the emotions. In terms of decision making, men tend to be more impulsive, while women are a bit more cautious. In areas of spatial reasoning, men generally perform better in spatial tasks, while women excel in verbal and language skills. When it comes to differences emotionally, again, women are emotionally more expressive. Women are a bit more empathic. Women response to stress is more likely to be experienced in anxiety and depression, while men are more prone to substance abuse. And I think this is a bit true to the extent that last week, the women's group within the organization I worked for, we had called in a man to come and talk about work-life balance for men. And a lot of these elements really came through in his presentation. So in trying to further talk about the topic, women driving the future of maritime safety, we look at some of the critical roles, a clear part to this, which is really,
Hello, Connie.
Hello?
I regret
Yes.
and apologize that I have to interrupt, but we just have 2 minutes. I am
Okay,
made to
okay.
understand that the minister is ready to come in and he has just 3 minutes to spend with us. So I would want to appeal that we pause this, your very, very interesting presentation, and have the minister give his ministerial speech. I sincerely apologize, please.
No problem at all. Thank you very much, Hasia. We'll get back to this. I
Thank
think it's second to the last slide there.
Okay, thank you so very much, Connie. We'll come back to this. We are so honored to have the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, honorably represented by Professor Busayo. I want to sincerely thank you, sir, for doing this. I know how late this came, and you still made out time to be here. On behalf of the women in energy, oil, and gas, I want to say a big thank you that you're doing this. And please help us convey a very big happy birthday to the Honorable Minister. Over the weekend was his birthday. We wish him all the best. And we know how busy you are. You want to run off. Please go ahead and send us the Honorable Minister's speech. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, we
Thank
can't
you.
hear
Thank you. Hello. I think I will have to stand on already existing protocol. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, who is very busy with the state schedule, that he will not be able to join this very important part of the Maritime Week. He asked me to convey his congratulations to you for this particular program, and on behalf of the ministry, that the minister with the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is ready to partner with all the women in maritime space. And as you know clearly that when we talk about maritime sustainability, we talk about making the best use of the maritime resources we have and leaving much to the future generation. And we look around the maritime space as in Nigeria today, maritime has been with us for so many years. And it is just now that with the ingenuity
So the documents will be able to.
talk of maritime. Hello?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
go
you
ahead.
now.
We talk of maritime security. Part of the
Moderator, please, can you let him know that he needs to unmute himself? We can't hear him.
Sorry, sir,
Can
please.
you unmute
The
your mic, sir?
representative,
Prof, we
Prof,
can't
please,
hear
can you
you.
unmute your mic? We can't hear you.
And it would
hello,
be
ma.
good to
Can
have
you
his
hear me
video
now?
too.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
please.
Yes, we
couldn't
can hear
hear
you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry for that. What I
And his
was just
video.
saying is that the message of His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola for this ongoing celebration International Maritime Day I was at the point where I was explaining the different sectors in the marine and blue economy, which are maritime security. We have so many women who are into maritime security today. We have maritime infrastructure. We have ports and terminal. We have inland waterway. We have marine living, which is fishery and aquaculture. We have non-living, which is cable, seabed mining, and seabed piping. We have marine technology, marine genetics. We have blue energy, which is tidal, wave energy, and offshore winds. Also, we have maritime transport and tourism. All these major key sectors of marine and blue economy in these days of maritime sustainability are the key aspects that we take Nigeria into the next level. If we are able to make sure we locate them, because if you want to harness something, first, you need to know what you have. And that is the creation of the marine and blue economy, is to be able to find out all our marine and maritime resources and put them under one umbrella. And then when you find all your maritime resources, then you will be able to protect them. After you must have protected them, then it's easy for you to harness them. And as we all know, we expect the maritime sector, marine and blue economy sector, to be competing with oil and gas, and also in near future surpass oil and gas revenue. And because that is our final frontier in development in this country. And the importance of women in this sector cannot be overemphasized. And when we talk of that also, safety first, not only for our women, but all the maritime practitioners, all our people that are working in that sectors, that it is important to talk about their safety. It is important to put that as first. And also, it is important to bring more women into the maritime sector. If you look at one of the sectors, which is fishery and aquaculture, 65% of the people in that sector, that fishery and aquaculture, employ over 1.2 million in Nigeria today. And majority of those people in that sector, the value chain, they are women. We want more women in ports. We want more women in freight forwarding. We want more women in seafarer. Now, we are one of the program we had this past week. We were discussing with this institution, Maritime Academy of Nigeria, around School of Oceanography, and the rector was telling us about the increase in the numbers of female students. And for us to survive, for us to succeed in this sector, more women are to come in, and we are to make sure that there is enabling environment to guarantee that. And we are to make sure that government is doing everything possible to support this particular area. And on this very short note, I just want to thank you. Personally, I was supposed to be one of the panelists engaged in this very important deliberation, but because I am actually on a transit to another engagement. So I thank the organizer for giving me this time to be able to at least express the mind of the Honorable Minister regarding the importance of women in our maritime sectors, and also to make sure that the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is here to support them, any idea that will uplift them, and also make sure that the safety first, to give them that comfort that we are here to be a partner, to be co-workers, and to do everything possible that we can do. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for your time, and I wish everybody that is participating in these deliberations and the panelists that at the end of the day, whatever that is agreed, whatever opinion, whatever ideas, whatever innovation that is that we are bringing together under this this conference, we will be able to take it one step further and make sure we implement it. And if any of those areas happen to, we need the assistance of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, we are readily available to give all our support. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Adegboyega Oyetola Isiaka, the Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, ably represented by Professor Busayo Fakindele. We appreciate your ministerial speech. We appreciate your support and your pledge towards the maritime, women in maritime, and as presented by the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. Before we move further to call back Koni Dunia, permit me to mention, sir, that you had said you will be competing with the energy, with the oil and gas in terms of boosting revenue. We would want to say, sir, that we want to collaborate, because collaboration is the new oil, and we would all want to draw from it, especially to ensure the actualization of our able President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed agenda, renewed hope agenda. We will be closing all the gaps in the maritime and energy, oil and gas sector. So thank you very much once again. Our warm regards to His Excellency. We sincerely appreciate your presence and the speech that was ably delivered. Koni Dunia, please, if you're still on the call, once again, sincere apologies for breaking your presentation. You may kindly go ahead with your very interesting presentation. I was honestly taking notes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Hasia. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can
hear you.
Okay, and you can also see the screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So I think this is the second to the last slide. So really looking at the team, maybe I just go back to it a bit. The theme for the Women in Maritime Day, which says women shaping the future of maritime safety, and in the whole conversation of navigating the future of the maritime sector. The way to do it, or how to achieve it, is really getting women into some of the most safety critical roles within the sector. So if you look at the onboard roles, we have a lot of the females that have come through, hovering around number 4 to 7, hardly ever getting to the top. I think off the top of my finger right now, probably have just one master of a vessel involved in the seafaring actively. So you have that, you see that a lot of the women coming into the industry are really at the bottom here. When you go to the shore roles, most of the time is the women that get to the top that really get some of these top safety critical positions ashore, which again, if you don't have women getting to the top on board, they were limited also in the number of women that get this safety critical roles ashore. And with that, then you wonder how then can women ensure or support the drive towards safety into the future when they are not able to get to those roles that would allow them exercise knowledge, expertise, and all the other soft skills that they have to drive sector safety, sorry. And then for support and regulatory roles, you have surveyors, auditors, inspectors, training managers, maintenance personnel, flag state inspectors, port state inspectors, classification society, surveyors. These again are roles where they expect that women should have personnel would have gone through to the top ranks within the seafaring roles and acquired enough experience to be able to carry out all these roles. And you find that these roles between the shore roles and support roles, you find these roles actively even within the oil and gas sector. There's hardly any oil and gas organization that is into maybe offshore, onshore, that is not really having this sort of roles or interface with these roles in their operations. So really, it shows us that women, why we need more women in seafaring and really nurturing their careers to the top, so that the expertise gained here can then be used onshore. So how can we drive gender inclusion in the maritime and midstream sector? Really, affirmative actions are necessary and required. So be it recruitment, training, mentorship, scholarships, contracting and procurement initiatives. This is really a follow-on from the session that was held on Saturday. You see how all this plays out, and then set clear goals for organizations. It's important to set clear goals as to how the organization intends to increase diversity and representation. I think lately in Europe, within even the maritime sector, you see some roles organized and they say for females only. And this is how aggressive they are really going about this issue. Clearly, you know, some sentiments can come in, but an organization can decide and say, look, because we acknowledge the issue and we want to go all out to make sure that we are contributing our quota into closing it, so they can go for female-only recruitment. There's a need to eliminate discrimination and biases. Most recently, within the industry, within the maritime industry, a group of organizations came together to propose to the International Maritime Organization a need for a course under the STCW concerning bullying, harassment, and sexual assault on board vessels. And the course is meant to be mandatory for everybody going on board the ship. I was part of the working group, and you see that it was mostly women that were very active in the working group, because women realize that this is one of the key hindering factors for women going into seafaring. And you see that women are the ones really championing this, the adoption of that course. So I think in 2026, that course will be rolled out and everybody will have to take that course. So for us, the drive is really first, at least create awareness, which is nobody then says they're not aware that their behaviors are not helping foster a healthy workplace for women. And then we move on to the next step, which is really about punishing those kind of behaviors. And this is really how this sort of behaviors that limit women in this kind of careers can be discouraged. And there's also the need to promote equal access and opportunities, again, back to training, hiring, mentorship, scholarships, contracting, all of that. There has to be equal access and opportunities, foster inclusion, an inclusive environment, address historical and systematic disparities. Doing that definitely comes with its own challenge and criticism. Imagine an organization putting out a job offer and saying for women only. Clearly, it can be seen as a reverse discrimination. But hey, if we appreciate that the numbers are low and we need to bring up the numbers, then those kind of extra measures can be taken. There are also issues of quota systems and tokenism. So we also try to encourage women within the female seafarers group that, look, competence is important, so that when women come into systems, we're not seen as quota systems or tokens. There's limited resources and funding, measuring effectiveness, addressing intersectionality and complex identities. Best practices are really geared towards developing clear goals and metrics, which really lies with the organizations, engage stakeholders and communities, which again bodies like Weog stand for and are doing, provide training and education, monitor progress and adjust strategies, ensure accountability and transparency. So I say big kudos to Weog. We are doing a lot and there's a lot more to be done to ensure that our industries are safe. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. That was an amazing one by Koni Dunia. Can we kindly give a virtual round of applause for that excellent presentation? Very, very educative. I told you all I was taking notes and I'll just run through a 1-minute summary of what Koni Dunia has shared with everyone on the call. She started by giving a brief history of the maritime industry, which dates back to 6000 BC. She also spoke about the maritime industry governance and shared some incidents that changed the course of maritime policies. She emphasized on why safety is important in the midstream and maritime sector. She also ran us through maritime regulations driven by the SDGs, which includes ensuring gender inclusion in the maritime sector. She also spoke about the maritime and offshore safety critical rules. And very importantly, she mentioned to us that 29% of the overall maritime workforce and 20% of the national maritime authorities are women, and that women make up less than 2% of seafarers worldwide. Now, from this, we see that a lot still needs to be done with the government, maritime associations, women associations such as Weog, and importantly, to contributing towards the advancement of STEM training for girls for sustainability, as well as a whole lot of all that she has shared with us in the latter part of her presentation. Thank you very much once more, Koni Dunia, for such an educative presentation. Next in line for her paper presentation would be Vivian Chimezi Azubike. Can we give a round of applause, a virtual round of applause, please, to her as we call on Vivian Chimezi Azubike. I'll be running through her profile in a bit. Vivian Chimezi Azubike is the Director General of the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, where she oversees the overall direction and operations of the Nigeria Chamber of Shipping. Her leadership is marked by a commitment to promoting sustainable practices, fostering international collaborations, and advocating for policies that enhance the competitiveness of the Nigeria's maritime industry on the global stage. She is a distinguished professional with a diverse background in business management organization, particularly within the maritime sector. Vivian brings her expertise to the forefront of this vital industry in Nigeria. Her leadership at the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping suggests a commitment to furthering the interests of the Nigerian maritime industry, which is crucial for the country's economic growth and positioning in international trade. With prior experience as the Acting Director General at the Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce, Vivian has demonstrated her capabilities in fostering international business relations, advocacy, C2C networks, and trade partnerships. Her role there mostly involved promoting economic ties and collaborations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. She is a member and public relations officer at the Women's International Shipping and Trading Association, WISTA, Nigeria chapter. She serves on the Environmental Committee of WISTA International. She's a member of the Women in Management, Business and Public Service WIMBIs. She's a Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, SIOTA. She's also a member of the Young Directors Forum of the Institute of Directors. She's an advisory member, Women in Maritime and Energy, WIME. She's a mental health advocate and a United Nations SDG 14 and 5 advocate and more. Her role as the Director General of the Nigeria Chamber of Shipping continues to contribute to the development and growth of Nigeria's maritime sector. Some of her many accomplishments include organizing the first International Maritime Organization International Day for Women in Maritime Conference in Nigeria, which has had in participation 4 intercontinental guest speakers, the first female president of the World Maritime University, Dr. Cleopatra Doumbia Henry, WISTA International President at the time, Ms. Despina Panayotou Theodosu, who is also the co-CEO of Total Fuel Maritime, Mrs. LP Petraki, current WISTA International President, and Mrs. Pam Ken, a maritime mental health practitioner, as well as other accomplished distinguished maritime and shipping experts in Nigeria. Vivian is also the creator of the annual Maritime Economic Outlook and Initiative of HERT, which has been running since 2021. She holds a BTech in Transport Management Technology Maritime from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Futo, and a Master's in Business Administration, Human Resources from the Lagos State University, a mini MBA from Tekedia Institute, which is a US recognized IT solution-based institution, and a senior port management course at the Galilee Institute of Israel. Vivian's career trajectory showcases a blend of leadership, human resources, international business acumen, and a deep commitment to both the maritime industry and personal growth. She's happily married with kids. Whoa, what a profile. Please let us put our hands together as we welcome this Amazon. I can't wait to hear from her as she gives her paper presentation. She'll be taking us through the topic Women in Leadership, Driving Safety Culture Change in the Shipping Industry. And before she comes on with her paper presentation, permit me to add to everyone on the call, please, if you have questions for Koni and where you have questions for Vivian or any of the paper presenters, kindly put it in the question and answer session and they will be duly attended to. Thank you very much. Madam Vivian, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Hasia, and good afternoon again to our distinguished participants and also organizers. I thank you for the opportunity to speak at this event. I will be running through my slides because the first speaker, Koni, has done a lot of justice to some of the things that I would have loved to talk about. But of course, since it's the same industry, I know that some of us, but most of the things we'll be talking about will be stemming from the same, conversations. So navigating the future of midstream shipping, safety first. I will be speaking on women in leadership, driving safety culture change in the shipping industry. So I just gave an overview. So mine started with what is maritime safety. Maritime safety measures, it's a measure taken to protect life and property at sea. And the guidelines are found under the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, and which was first signed into, came into existence in 1974, like 50 years. This year makes it 50 years that SOLAS was signed. And over time, we've had a lot of amendments of the convention. So just like Connie had also mentioned in her own presentation, but I'll just go down to just mention what SOLAS covers in summary. SOLAS covers regulation of standards for safe seafarers, search and rescue, facilitation of international maritime traffic. There are other subcommittees that are under the SOLAS convention, and they look into international maritime traffic, load lines. These are all the factors that are bordered around safety. Load lines, carriage of dangerous goods and tonnage measurements, ship systems and equipment, human elements, that's the seafarers, training, watchkeeping, navigation, communication, search and rescue, pollution prevention and response. And in summary, I said that SOLAS convention covers the human element, which is the seafarers, the assets, ships itself, or themselves, or what we call vessels, and the environments, the marine environment, the land, and of course the atmosphere, especially in view of climate change, which is very topical now in all conversations. We're talking about sustainability of our marine environment, sustainability of our biodiversity. These all come up in the course of our conversations now, since we are discussing the future of shipping. So the future of shipping and safety. The future of shipping is characterized by current trends in safety, which are driven by digitalization, enhanced training, sustainable practices, stricter regulation. So there's been a lot of review. Cody mentioned in her own presentation, the reason why we had those conventions, there were events that happened and there were needs for these conventions, to regularize and also to bring up standardization in the industry. And so the future of shipping also, since we've been discussing this future of shipping for some years now, a couple of years, especially post-COVID, this has become more topical in the industry. We're looking at digitalization, enhanced training, sustainable practices, stricter regulations, the adoption of cutting-edge technologies that are focused on crew well-being, creating safer and more efficient operations across the industry. And there are more events around security in view of management of data. So they're looking at cybersecurity, environmental protection, and automation, which will continue to evolve. Some of these trends are itemized below. So I have them here. I will just mention one or two things about them. Digitalization and automation for safety. We're looking at smart shipping, talking about smart shipping, talking about automation and automation of ships. So these are part of the things that we're looking at when it comes to the future of shipping. Enhanced crew training. Connie had also mentioned the importance of crew training and capacity building. So we're looking at, more sophisticated training, simulations, virtual realities, and then mental health is very important. When we talk about safety, we're talking about the mental health, and I'm happy that the seafarers, the IMO is looking into it considerably with the importance of mental health when it comes to identifying what safety is all about. And because those that do the jobs are humans, and they have to be in the right state of mind to do their jobs and to carry it out effectively. So mental health is critical when we talk about safety. And then we look at improved and updated regulatory standards. You know, there's been a lot of updates on STCWF. There's one on that. I'm aware because they're discussing a lot about, you know, the climate change and how it has affected or is affecting, you know, the rise of water, noise, pollution under the water or in the seas and all that. So those are parts of those events informing the IMO to look at this, how to make navigation easier and safer. So since we're discussing safety, regulatory standards are being updated and improved upon. Sustainability and environmental safety. We discuss climate change. You know, there's a lot of discussions around climate change. There are a lot of discussions about the net zero emission. And so that has taken us to, you know, and also the marine environment itself. Since we're talking about sustainability, we're looking at the marine environment. And so there's been a lot of regulations around ballast water management systems, low sulfur fuel and alternative fuels, emission control and emission control areas, port and cargo safety innovations. Please give me a moment. I'm feeling a little cold. I want to turn on my AC. Okay, it's better. Thank you. So ports and cargo, how does it impact safety? We have shore power, you know, cold ironing to reduce emissions and risks. We are talking about safety, we're looking at safety in its entirety. And so ports also have a role to play, and doing these right things will, you know, bring about safety standards. So we're looking at shore power, you know, managing emissions around the port areas, automated cargo handling also, that will also help. And then safety in Arctic and high-risk zones. You know, there's been some current conversations around the glazing of the ice areas, you know, the cold areas, the Arctic areas. We're looking at the rise of the water levels. These, as much as they are not spoken often, they actually impact safety. So we're looking at, so there's been a lot of conversations around polar code compliance, you know. So there are more routes that are open in the Arctic areas, the polar code areas, and adopted by the IMO. So they're making sure that the ships operating in these areas, they are actually classified as hazardous water areas. They meet high safety and environmental protection standards. And how is this being done? The kind of hull and machineries that are used to build the ships that have to go through those areas are also considered as very critical when it comes to safety and safety standards. And then piracy and security. Safety, and then safety reporting and transparency. It has been identified that there's been a lot of, you know, when the information is not carried out very well, that safety concerns are not well communicated. And so there's a lot of need for safety reporting systems to be improved, and shipping companies are encouraged to implement these and make reporting more transparent and easy to understand. Okay, so how are women going to play in driving safety culture change or changes? We have to advocate for better policies. I do not want to dwell so much on this, but I know that there have been organizations, or some organizations such as Weog, also Women's International Shipping and Trading Association. We have FESAN, you know, which Connie belongs to. I was also the founding president, that are strongly advocating for stricter safety regulations. And, you know, and her presentation, she had elucidated on the physiological and the mental makeup of women, and why these policies are very important, you know, to promote inclusivity. And so it's we're looking at advocating for better policies that is quite inclusive, and to consider women women while drafting these policies, because just like she had mentioned, historically, because of what the ships used to look like, there wasn't a lot of consideration for women to be on board vessels, but the narratives are quite changing. Since IMO had identified it in 2019, and there's been a lot of conscious efforts to improve and increase the participation of women in the shipping industry. And of course, because shipping provides ancillary services to the oil and gas, it's quite critical that we have more women. And because of the capacity that we have, we tend to be better managers. Forgive me if I sound biased, but since the women event, I think we all agree to that. And so it's important that we have policies that are quite inclusive. Whilst you were reading my brief profile, did identify that there was an event that we've been holding, and actually this year it was the third year, and it's in view of the IMO's announcement and the IMO's need to get women to be all part of the maritime industry. It's not like we haven't been there, but then IMO had identified us. And so in this year's conversation, we spoke greatly around women's mental health. And we saw a lot of vulnerability in that room, where we had, female seafarers who spoke about their challenges. And they're all bothered around safety, and also the future of their career in the industry. And so one of the things, the takeaways for us from that event was that most of the PPEs, the sizes are not even for women. There are women, sometimes we're kind of petite, we have different sizes, and they don't have that. So those are conscious things, or conscious needs, things that we need to put in place, to have better policies and encourage inclusivity. So the human element in safety, we said female leaders, they prioritize human elements in safety. They consider factors like fatigue, mental health, and also work-life balance. So we'll also looking at the safety of women in the midstream. Now, gender-sensitive training. So women leadership should introduce gender-sensitive safety training programs, that ensure that both male and females are equally equipped to handle safety challenges. And it must also improve the overall safety culture and help retain women in maritime workforce. Mentorship programs, I won't do so much of these ones. Then let's look at the operational innovations. We should look at the role women can play is to adopt safety technologies. They should champion digital transformation and use of technology to enhance safety, real-time monitoring of systems, automatic shutdown technologies, predictive maintenance, and that could, help prevent accidents. The next one is the sustainable practices. We should have sustainable practices. For me, should also include, plans to have more women playing such roles, and also introducing them into technologies, because technology is actually taking over the industry. So in shipping alone, we have double hull tankers, we have implementing better fuel efficiency protocols and encouraging the use of alternative fuels like LNG. Then training and development, we can't overemphasize the importance of safety-oriented training programs, in the midstream operations. And women leaders should also emphasize on continuous education and tailored safety programs that address safety risks that are faced during midstream activities, including spill containment, handling hazardous materials, and emergency response procedure. I don't talk a lot about diversity. And then leadership in offshore loading and unloading. It should have female leaders that can drive the culture of safety by implementing strict loading and unloading protocols, ensuring there is no slack in safety standards during high-risk offshore operations, and in minimizing the risk of spills and accidents. And then women should also be trained in emergency preparedness for offshore units, especially in the area of fire, explosion, or evacuation. They should be well encouraged and also trained to fit in comfortably in these roles. So we need to also break down gender biases, give women more opportunities, more roles. I think we all agree to this. That's why we belong to such organizations, and that's why we always have the support from also women who are doing very well in the industry. And most importantly, we should have mentorship and empowerment. I think I'll stop here and I say thank you very much for listening, because I was told it was going to be for a very short time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope we're still all very awake and alert on the call. And if we are, please let's not be tired of giving a virtual round of applause to our erudite presenter, in the person of Mrs. Vivian Chimezie Azubike. Please, a virtual round of applause for her for delivering such very informative and illuminating presentation. And I will give a 30-second brief of what she has presented to us. She ran us through the SOLAS, S-O-L-A-S. She also spoke about the future of shipping and safety with a focus to safety, cutting-edge technologies, and sustainability. Vivian spoke to us about the role women are expected to play, in driving safety culture change, advocating for more inclusive policies, and even critical basic matters such as PPEs. She also spoke about gender adaptable PPEs, gender sensitive trainings, and very importantly, gender inclusivity with respect to leadership, as well as the adoption of operational innovation, safety technology, mentorship, and empowerment. Thank you very much once again, Vivian Chimezie Azubike, for such an informative session. Quickly, please, I would want to mention again, if we have questions, we can kindly drop it in the Q&A. And after the panelist session, we shall take the questions and answers briefly. I would want to call on our next paper presenter. And for want of time, I would want to appeal that we make it in 5 minutes, so we can give good time for other presenters as well as for the question and answer session. So next, they'll be giving us a presentation, this time around, not a paper presentation, but a verbal run through of her topic would be Captain Olubukola Ayeni, and she shall be speaking to us on navigating maritime power, experiences of women in maritime professions and the future. I will do a brief of her profile. Captain Olubukola Ayeni is a Nigerian seafarer with over 12 years sailing experience and about 3 years management experience. She graduated from Federal College of Fisheries and Marine Technology in 2008, where she studied nautical science. She has worked on different types of vessels ranging from tankers, PSVs, crew boats, security boats, etc., within the coast of Africa and beyond. She currently works with AB Offshore Marine Services Limited in the operations department. She is a wife and a mother. She is a member of the Female Seafarers Association of Nigeria, FESAN, and the financial officer of the Maritime Professionals Forum, MAPRO. Please let us join hands together as we welcome Captain Olubukola Ayeni, and she gives us a run through her topic. Captain Olubukola, the mic is yours.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Captain.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. Standing on existing protocol, my name is Olubukola Ayeni. I'm a seafarer, and I'll be speaking on the topic navigating the maritime path, experiences of women in the maritime professions and the future. Okay, apologies, I do not have a paper presentation. I'll just be speaking verbally. Okay, the maritime industry has historically been dominated by male. We are all aware of that. That in history, it has been a male that have been in the maritime industry going to sea. But gradually, we can see that this landscape is shifting, and we have more women that are coming into the industry and are thriving in this maritime profession. Women's experiences in this field reveal both the challenges they face and the significant contributions that they make. For example, the experiences of a lot of women in the maritime industry, and also myself, we are breaking barriers. Most women in the maritime roles have talked about trying to overcome skepticism and prejudice. You know, their journey involve having to prove themselves in the industry, demonstrating their competencies at all times. I remember when I first started going on board, when I finished from school and I went on board, you know, when people just saw a female, mind you, I was very, very skinny then. Now I've added a lot of weight. So then I was skinny. So when people saw me, look at this small girl, what are you coming to do on board? The sea is not for girls. The sea is not for girls. The sea is meant for guys. Women are supposed to be in the kitchen. You know, I heard so many things. I also could remember after my cadetship, then when the crewing manager saw me, the first thing he said is that, are you sure you can drive a ship? So I was just wondering, drive a ship, how? You need the experience, you need the technical know-how, and also your academics, what you've learned in school, to be able to work on the vessel. But apparently, I was not employed in that company. But thank God for the 2019 theme for the International Seafarers Day, when they talk of gender equality. So I think that has created a new perspective for ship owners, for ship management companies, even for everyone at large, to encourage more women to go to sea. Then apart from that, also building community. Women in the maritime sector frequently emphasize the importance of mentorship and support network. Initiatives and organizations dedicated to women in maritime have become vital in fostering connections and sharing resources, helping newcomers navigate the industry. For example, the Female Seafarers Association of Nigeria, that is the first one, which was founded by Mrs. Ekuni in 2019. This group has been doing a very good job of encouraging females, are now well known in Nigeria and even internationally. A lot of female seafarers have gotten international jobs from this forum. So I want to encourage more initiatives like that, because as it stands, even though this gender equality of a thing, as people now know more about it and people are encouraging females to go to sea, but it is still not enough. Like Kuni mentioned during a paper presentation, she talked about females not being able to get to the post of masters as a currently, whereas in other countries, in Ghana we have a lot, in US, other countries we have a lot of female masters, but female seafarers we have in Nigeria now are just within the second officer to the third officer, then female cadets, then also the engineers. So we need to do more to encourage the females to go to sea. Then we have a diverse perspective. The inclusion of women brings fresh perspective to the maritime workforce. Women often approach teamwork, problem solving, and safety with a unique viewpoint that enhances operational efficiency and decision making. We all know that there's a saying that women are the smarter gender. So having more women in the maritime industry is good. It's a very, very good one. Then the future of women in maritime. What are the future of women in maritime? Increasing opportunities. With the ongoing advocacy for gender diversity, more educational and career development programs are emerging, paving the way for women to pursue maritime careers. Companies are now recognizing the benefits of diverse teams and actively working to create inclusive environments. Like I mentioned before, FESAN is a group that is doing a very good job. So, and I also want to encourage the ship owners that already have females working on board their vessels to try and assist in developing their career further. Then I think someone mentioned that one time at an event that I went for. He said, what's the benefit of developing a female career, especially in seafaring, when after they get married, they give birth, they quit the profession? Maritime industry is on a global scale. It's not just about seafaring alone. For example, I sailed for 15 years. I sailed for 15 years, and after sailing, when I was sailing, I got married and I had kids, and that didn't stop me from sailing also. After I had my kids, I still went back to sea. I sailed for some time before I came to work at a management level. So I don't think that is a problem at all. Then also we have technological advancement. As the maritime industry embraces technology, women are increasingly getting involved in fields such as marine engineering, logistics, marine environment, crew management, freight forwarding, stevedoring, and the likes. So we also have advocacy and policy changes. So we need to create more continued efforts towards gender equality, because there are still some barriers that women face. For example, we have vessels that cannot accommodate women. So we should encourage more ship builders to factor in women when they are building a ship. I remember there was a vessel I was supposed to work on. I actually wanted to work on that vessel because I love that vessel a lot. But when I got to the company, I was told that I can't go on board that particular vessel because the cabins there are shared. So if I would go on board, I'll be sharing the cabin with a man. So, unfortunately, I could not board the vessel because of that. So we need to encourage more vessels to be built to accommodate the female gender. Role models and visibility. The presence of successful female role models in the maritime leadership is crucial for inspiring future generations. As more women rise to prominent positions, they pave the way for others to follow, helping to dismantle stereotypes and encourage more young women to explore careers at sea. We need to also encourage mentorship. There are lots of female seafarers that don't have a mentor. So as they don't have the mentor, so nobody to encourage them to go to sea. Nobody to encourage them, make them happy, teach them about the career, the benefits of the career, the joy in the career. So we need to encourage more mentors for female. In my time now, it's okay because we have a lot of female seafarers now, and we have a lot of mentors that are mentoring them. But when I started the career, then there was no mentor. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just knew that, okay, let me just go to sea. It's a career that I love to do. But along the line, I found some mentors. Mrs. Cooney is my mentor. So I found some mentors and they encouraged me, and I'm in this career. So please, we need to encourage more females to go to sea. In conclusion, the journey of women in the maritime profession is one of resilience, community, and change. As we look to the future, fostering an inclusive environment will not only benefit women, but will also enhance the overall effectiveness and safety of the maritime industry. By continuing to support and celebrate the contributions of women in this field, we can navigate towards a more equitable and innovative maritime future. So thank you very much. At this point, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you.
Captain. Thank you very much, Captain Olubukola Ayeni, for, again, such a motivational and educative presentation, even though there were no slides, but it was very motivational and very impactful. And thank you for encouraging more women to go into maritime. My personal experience of maritime would, okay, apart from maybe a couple of 1 or 2 official visits, would be on my vacational trips and cruises. And I must tell you that I enjoyed it. So I can imagine what work will be. I hope work will be the same. So that's on a lighter note though. So once again, thank you very much. And I would want to give a summary of what Captain Olubukola tutored us about. She spoke about her journey so far, as well as the conscious and unconscious biases, which she experienced and has been able to sail through. She spoke about building communities, mentorship, and support networks. She reiterated and spoke about the ongoing status and also the future of women in maritime. So thank you so very much once again, Captain Olubukola. We appreciate you. I know you have a flight to catch, but hopefully you'll be able to stay with us to take some questions that I know would come, when it is time for the questions and answer sessions. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen on the call, next and last, but definitely not the least, I will be introducing to the floor would be our very own Weog Amazon in the person of Mrs. Joy Zelua Shotunde. She is the manager, team lead, distribution system, storage and retail infrastructure and jetty operations, DSSRR. Oh, NMDPRA, you will always have long names. I had to read this. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. I'll read her profile. Joy Shotunde started her career 19 years ago as a petroleum data analyst and presently petroleum economist, technical jetty operations manager. She has a master's degree in business administration and management. She currently is running a doctorate degree in business administration here in Nigeria at the University of Abuja, and also running a PhD in environmental degradation at the Memphis State University, United States of America. A round of applause as we invite Joy Shotunde to also reiterate to us and speak verbally on the future of women in the maritime industry. A virtual round of applause for her, please. Joy Shotunde, you have the floor, please. Joy Shotunde, kindly unmute your mic. I see it's a paper presentation. Please, let's have that run in 5 minutes for want of time.
Okay. Okay, Dame Hasia, thank you very much. I'm just trying to see if I can share my slides with you. If you can hear me and also see your slides.
We can see your slides.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it and we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'm just going to briefly talk about the future of women in maritime. It's going to be very short. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, my delectable ladies. As we all know, the maritime industry has been characterized and it's been like a male-dominated industry with deep-rooted traditions, gender imbalances, and physical demands. It has historically been a challenging field for women to enter. And hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
we
can we have your video?
Okay, my video, sorry. Okay, let me put it on, please. I'm having slight internet delays, but please, I'll share it now. Just a moment. Can you see me now?
Please carry
Sorry.
on, Mrs. Joy Shotunde. You're doing a presentation, so I think your slides will be fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, like I said before, it's a male-dominated industry. However, in recent years, significant strides have been made towards gender equality as women increasingly participate in aspects of maritime businesses. The future of women in maritime industry looks promising. It looks promising as evolving technology, shifting societal norms, and concerted efforts from organizations gives us a promise and more inclusive, diverse workforce. This short essay explores the current trends, challenges, opportunities, and future prospects for women in the maritime industry, and also addressing critical factors such as workforce inclusion, leadership, education, and the influence of technology on shaping a more equitable industry. However, historical content and gender imbalance has also played a major role in maritime industry. As in, it's all encompassing activities such as shipping, logistics, ports operation, and seafaring has long been perceived as a male-dominated industry. But with maritime work often involving long voyages, most men feel women should not be in that industry because we are only made for the kitchen and perhaps also made to cook, make babies and all that. But the world is changing. The world is focusing more on women. I'm sorry to say the future, like they always say, is becoming female because they're everywhere. They are doctors, they are seafarers, they are everywhere, they are captains. I've received a cargo vessel laden with PMS by a woman from Finland. She brought the cargo straight up to my country, and I received that cargo. Almost all the crew members were women, and I was very sarcastic and proud because for you to even climb up the vessel too, you must have one or two experiences in the oil and gas industry, because I'm also streamlining and channeling it to oil and gas, jetty operations, depot operations, and all that. Meanwhile, these statistics show a clear gender gap. The picture is evolving. International organizations, governments, and private enterprises are increasingly recognizing the need to be diverse. And there are a lot of intelligent women out there that are manning these cargo ships, manning jetty depot operations like me. I'm using myself as an example. There's so many other women there that are doing so well in the maritime industry. We go up these vessels, pick up samples in petroleum, test them, bring them back, do so many things. There's so many activities to be done. And you see, there are also emerging trends and changing attitudes. Like in recent years, there have been growing recognition of value of diversity and inclusion across all industries, including the maritime sector. Several factors are driving this change, including globalization, technological advancements, and evolving societal norms. Maritime businesses and organizations, they are also recognizing the need to create more inclusive workplaces to attract and retain top talent. What we mean here by top talent is it is not restricted to the men alone. We have a lot of women, talented women in the industry. They are doing graciously well. I don't even know the word to use for it. I have met a lot of women in the maritime, and also the oil and gas industry that are doing well. When I look at them, I feel so inspired to do more. Then we also have changing workplace norms and flexibility. Like we all know, traditional maritime career has often been viewed as incompatible with family life. Like I said before, when a woman comes into the maritime industry, they see you as, oh, you're not supposed to be at home with your family, maybe nurture your children, but they have forgotten that we are also human beings and we have a career. We have a career to uphold. We have, how would I put it? We have a lifestyle and a career to keep, So what I'm basically saying here is that the future of maritime has the women in focus. In all sincerity, I have gone for trainings home and abroad, and I have met a lot of people that, that have, how would I put it, that have come to give us 1 or 2 lectures on maritime, and they are women. And I'm so shocked on how they have all this information. And then I found out that it is with a lot of education, education. They read, they learn, they go back to school to learn maritime, before they can even get to that place. Then, there's a lot of opportunities in maritime for women, especially in the areas such as technology, leadership, and sustainability. Several key trends indicate that the women's participation in the maritime sector will grow, and then with increasing opportunities to break through traditional barriers. We also have technological advancements, which has reshaped the maritime industry in profound ways. Automation, digitalization, and artificial intelligence. I would like to say it categorically that women are the ones driving all these apps. They are the ones working on it. Wherever they are all over the world, they are into AI. They use AI to navigate these systems, and it has been a wonderful journey. These technological innovations reduce the physical demands traditionally associated with maritime work, making many roles more accessible to women. For example, automated systems like handling tasks such as navigation, cargo handling, and ship maintenance. Like I said before, cargo handling. I know it when a vessel is coming because I have been trained on a particular platform in Reuters that will make me know, even track a vessel wherever it is all over the world. And it also tells me, the AI I'm using also tells me if that cargo has been in a form of corruption, like maybe bad activities, corruption activities, probably maybe the cargo has been somewhere it's not supposed to be, or have stolen products, like we've been having this crude theft. We know some cargos that come and steal these our products. We've red flagged them. We have the IMO numbers and everything. So things like that, I have been driving it, and so many other women in the oil and gas industry as well, they've been driving it. So women, in particularly in those backgrounds in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is STEM, are well positioned to take advantage of these changes by entering fields such as marine engineering, software development, and data analysis, and all that. Women can play a pivotal role. They can play a pivotal role in driving the digital transformation of the maritime industry. The increasing demand for digital skills in maritime operations will likely create new pathways for women to enter and thrive in the sector. And then we have leadership and governance roles, which women have always been in forefront, like in terms of leadership opportunities, although women are currently underrepresented in the senior management and executive roles, yes. But there is a growing awareness out there, which there's a growing awareness of the benefits of having a diverse leadership teams. Studies have shown that companies with diverse leaderships are more innovative. I'm telling you, like my previous seafarer said, she said something about women are good managers. It is true. We are very articulate. We know how to manage problems, manage situations. And if you notice, most successful CEOs in the world today, they always have a female MD. They always have a female MD, someone that they can always run to for advice. And guess what? They always do well. You know, because women bring different perspectives to the table, influencing the direction of the industry. We also have sustainability and environmental leadership. I have so many women doing that. In short, I was privileged to attend an award ceremony just over the weekend. So were women in health and safety environment. You know, sustainability has become a focus in the maritime industry. It's increasing, how would I put it? It's increasing pressure to reduce emissions, protect marine ecosystem, and adopt green technologies. Women are increasingly playing key roles in this area, introducing to research, policy, making operational changes that promote environmental sustainability in the marine operations. As environmental challenges grow, there will be a greater need of innovative solutions, and women are all positioned to lead these efforts. You know, and then, well, I'm rushing through these slides. What I'm trying to say here is that women can also overcome challenges and barriers. Despite the promising future in the maritime industry, we all know that women face several challenges and barriers, which needs to be addressed. Like overcoming these obstacles is essential for them to ensure to ensure that women can fully participate and benefit from the opportunities available in the sector. We also have cultural, like I said before, we have cultural problems, one of which is most significant changes in the women in maritime, which they face deeply entrenched cultural and institutional barriers, which I said before, that it persists in the industry. This includes traditional gender roles, biases against women's abilities. Like I said before, once they employ you, I remember when I was posted to a jetty, which has like 2 or 3 depots, they actually said, oh, who is the manager here that will, go into the cargo and scoop up products and go and test? I said, I'm the one. The man said, no, you, a woman, how can you do that? So I now said, no, that I can do that. I've been trained for it. In as much as we said this, I want to encourage women that the future is female. The future of maritime is female. Thank you very much. Thank you, Asia. Over to you. I'm done.
Yes, thank you so very much, Mrs. Joy Delua Shotunde. I'm sure we're not all tired. She's the last presenter. So please let's again give a virtual round of applause to Mrs. Joy Shotunde for such an interesting presentation. Summarily, she buttressed on the historical context and gender imbalance in the maritime sector, which shows a clear gender gap that needs to be bridged to ensure women advancement of the maritime sector. She spoke about efforts and contributions by various organizations and associations in a bid to close this gender gap that we speak about. However, they say the biggest room in life is the room for improvement. So she ended by saying something which spoke so much to my core, and that is one of the many things she said that captivated me really, is that the future of maritime has women in focus. At least with this in mind, we are very optimistic that this gender gap in the midstream and maritime sector, I beg your pardon, will be bridged. Thank you very much once again. At this point, we have had all our erudite panelists speak. We're going to move straight to the questions and answers. I had mentioned at certain intervals that we can drop our questions in the Q&A box. I don't know if we have any questions in the Q&A box. Grace and Ruth, please, can you help me check that? I'm not seeing any from my end. Ruth, kindly unmute your mic. Are there any questions in the Q&A section? If there are none, then I will run with the
Yeah, there are none for now.
questions.
Just go ahead with the panelists. I
With
think
the
it's only one
questions.
person
Okay.
that asked a question. Steps taken to break barriers in the maritime sector. That's one question that we have there right now.
Okay, was it addressed to any of the panelists in particular?
No, none
Okay,
in
so
particular.
I'll add it to my list of questions. I think I have about 3-4 questions here. I will add it to that list. But before then, I would want to request for Grace to kindly share the link to become a member of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, which is the platform that has brought us here gathered and is commemorating the International Maritime Day. Please, Grace, kindly share the Weog membership link for all who are requesting of how they can be a member of this very great association. Thank you very much. I see that she has done that. So for all who have asked for how to become a member of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Nigeria, so we can all collectively, this is everyone's, bridging the gap is everyone's collective business. So please kindly click on the link as has been shared in the chat box, and it will take you straight to the registration form. And once you make your submission, the membership directorate will take it from there. So I will be moving to the questions and directing them particularly. Let me start with Captain Olubukola because she has a trip that she does not want to be late for. Hi, Captain. Please confirm that you're still on the call.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Captain Olubukola, in what ways do you believe that increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the midstream and maritime industry enhance teamwork and safety on board? Do you want me to run through that again?
Okay, ma, please,
Your line is breaking, but I assume that you're saying I should repeat the questions. In what ways do you believe that increasing DEI, which stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, in this industry, how would what ways would you suggest that DEI can be enhanced for teamwork and safety on board in the midstream and maritime industry?
Yeah, okay. If we have a diverse team, it leads to more innovative solutions and better decision making. If you have a diverse crew on board, they can enhance communication and collaboration because they are from different backgrounds. So they can foster more inclusive discussions. And this is crucial in the safety critical situations on board because a diverse viewpoint can help identify risks that might otherwise have been overlooked. So also a diverse environment cultivates a culture of respect among the crew, cooperation, leading to a safe and more effective working atmosphere.
Thank you very much, Captain. That was very concise and straight to the point. The next question would be for Konidunia. Konidunia, you actually have 2 legs of the question, but I would start with the first and then move to another panelist. What are the key areas of collaboration between the maritime sector and the oil and gas industry? Kunidunia, are you still on the call, please? Can someone kindly confirm if Kunidunia is on this call? Okay, while we wait for Kunidunia to get back online, next question I would be asking would be directed to Mrs. Vivian Chimezie Asubike. Mrs. Vivian, kindly tell us more about SOLAS and safety. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. SOLAS or SOLAS, because IMO is an international, the International Maritime Organization is an international organization, basically for regulations and for, standardization of shipping and shipping trade, as it were. The SOLAS, which is SOLAS, also known as SOLAS, is the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. Okay, and it was basically just like Tony had hinted. It was following the event. First, it was the Titanic event. Before then, there were most conventions are actually instruments of events that happen, and then we want to see how we can mitigate these incidences and then make everyone to be part of it. So we call them conventions. And then we have people who sign on to this convention. But the interesting thing about the convention is either you sign on to it or not, as long as you are your country is a shipping country, you abided by this, binded or bound by these IMO conventions. And then the IMO conventions, under the IMO conventions, we also have the port state control and the flag state control. So SOLAS is simply one of the basics, which is basically to take care of the lives of the seafarers on board the vessel. And then they have also offshoots of SOLAS, which is the STCW, safety of and training of and certification for watch keeping, which is more like the basics for seafarers also that are on board the vessel. So what SOLAS stands for is to make sure that these conventions and rules that are guiding the seafarers are implemented by any ship owner, and because there are conventions where all the ship owners are expected to abide by these SOLAS conventions. So I think that's basically what it's all about. And they have different, if you look at the convention, it covers a lot. It covers not only the seafarers, it also covers the assets and how seafarers are treated generally. So that's what SOLAS is all about. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Vivian. Thank you so very much for giving us a mini lecture on SOLAS. We have noted that down, and I'm sure we will no longer be novices. Personally, for me, I speak for myself, and maybe a couple of some of us on the call who would confess to being novices to hearing it for the first time. Thank you very much for that education. Next question would be for Mrs. Joy Shotunde, and it goes, how can women thrive in the maritime business? Mrs. Joy Shotunde, kindly unmute your mic and...
Okay, I've done that. Thank you, my gorgeous moderator. Well, like I said before, I will keep hammering on it, how women can thrive and succeed in maritime business. Number one is education and training. You must be trained. You must pursue maritime-related degrees, e.g. like naval, architecture, marine, engineering, and logistics. You can also attend industry conferences, workshops and seminars, obtain certificates like ISO 9001, ISM, ISPS, participate in mentorship programs. Also networking. I believe so much in networking, and building relationships. Join marital organizations, join oil and gas organizations like ours, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, join all these organizations, learn and look for mentors, people that you can look up to in the industry. Attend industry events and conferences, connect with experienced professionals. Women, because there's so many professional women in the maritime industry. Also, career development, start in entry-level positions, and work it up. What I mean by this is start at entry level, learn. Rome was not built in a day. Learn, talk to people, tell them, let them give you advice on your career journey. Seek internships and volunteer opportunities. Develop transferable skills, e.g., like communication, problem solving, and all that. Consider specialization like maritime law, finance, and all that. Then leadership and empowerment too, as well, can help you, to go up there, to be up there in maritime businesses. Take on leadership roles in industry organizations, participate in decision-making processes, support and mentor junior colleagues, advocate for gender diversity and inclusion. That's all I can give for now. And also resilience and adaptability. You must be resilient. You must show, your mentors that you can be up there, you can do this, and then they will guide you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Joy Delu-Ashotunde, for a very robust response to the question. Summary, in fact, while we're speaking, I just remembered a saying that goes, education is the passport to the future, and then you spoke about networking. Thank you so much. The network is your net worth, very important. Join associations like Weog, and professional bodies, and always seek to advance career with respect to your career and with knowledge seeking. Thank you very much, Ma. The next question is for Captain Olubukola. I still pray that you are on the call, ma'am. So to Captain Olubukola, hi, Captain. Hi, Captain. Are you there, please? I see her on the call, but maybe kindly unmute your mic, Captain. We can't hear you. The next question is for you. What is the typical career path for a female to become a captain? And what is the career path post-captain grade? Captain Olubukola, are you on the call? Am I audible, please? I hope I'm not speaking to myself.
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right. Okay, thank you. So I want to assume that it is the captain's network. Yes, I want to assume that it is captain's network. So please, is Konidunia back on this call?
I doubt if she's back. I've been trying to reach her. I don't know, maybe network or something. I guess we still have two panelists.
So
they might just take some of the questions.
In that light, Mrs. Vivian, I have a bonus question for you, please. Indulge me. Kindly share your perspective on what the key areas are for collaboration between the maritime sector and the oil and gas industry.
Okay, I think the thing is that when we'll talk about midstream operations and of course downstream operations. We see a lot of involvement of the oil and gas. Like I said, the oil and gas is more like a driver of the activities within the shipping more like a driver of the activities of within the oil and gas industry. And since it's been identified that we have the downstream, we have the midstream, of course the upstream, we see a lot of collaborations that are ongoing currently. We see that there's a lot of activities of support services from the shipping industry to the oil and gas, and without thinking too much. Already, I think that there's been a lot of collaborations, but then since we're discussing women, it's very important that we see more women take up these roles. The statistics already have it that there's a lot of women in the oil and gas. They're not compared to what we have in the shipping industry. And because the shipping industry, especially in this part of the world, also is not for women, hasn't been out there. It's not something that so many people are familiar with. And one of the things I think we should do is to take the knowledge down to the elementary level. We want to see girls grow up to start taking decisions and thinking, okay, instead of thinking about becoming a lawyer, a doctor, or a surgeon and all that. Even robotics, we see a lot of enlightenment when it comes to the IT industry. I think we should start talking to our girls in the elementary schools and secondary schools, and start giving them those ideas of what careers they can get into. And we want to also see more collaborations such as this within with the interest groups, associations, and see how we can get more women groups that are in the oil and gas and also in the shipping industry collaborate to have programs such as this one, and also training programs. If we can have people that come to speak to the ladies, they can see how they can also have some kind of synergy and to also improve in their careers. I think basically we need to have more enlightenment campaigns, more capacity building programs, more events where we can have the women from the oil and gas and the shipping industry speak in one room and see how they can collaborate. And I think basically with that, we will see more prospects emerge, and then also have more people who are interested in being part of any of the two industries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Vivian. So the last question here is one question, but permit me to direct it to both Mrs. Vivian and Mrs. Joy Shotunde. Mrs. Vivian, you may want to take it first, and then Mrs. Joy Shotunde would take it, being a manager at the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Regulatory Authority. And please, Mrs. Joy Shotunde, if you do not have the approval of your organization to speak as NMDPRA on the matter, you can give your personal views on the matter. You can share your personal views on the matter. So the synopsis of the question starts from, we got wind of news that Nigerian ship owners reject female seafarers. And the story around it is that we have several female seafarers whose licenses have expired and they can't renew it because they can't land jobs. And the situation is bad because manning agencies are directly telling females that ship owners do not want them. For us, especially with respect to bridging the gaps, this is a major. Kindly speak to this and share your thoughts. Thank you.
I think the bias about having women on ship vessels is not exclusive to Nigerians, if I might say, because the nature of shipping, so to speak. But then we've had a lot of women who have defied the odds and have proved themselves, not only because they are qualified by their certification, but that they have also had experiences. And this particular issue has been ongoing for some time, but I think it's also important for us to also identify that there are some shipping companies who are very gender inclusive and have had more women, you know, on their vessels. And I do not want to speak generally, you know, on this issue, because every organization has their own standards and of operations and what their expectations are when it comes to employment of anyone at all, not just the women. And I think that should be exclusive to them. But our concern basically as an organization is to ensure that there is fair play and there is justice and equity when it comes to employment of the female seafarers. So I think there are a few stories around that, but most importantly, I feel that organizations are actually also looking at the qualification of whoever is going to be on board their own vessels. And I dare say that I think at some events, it's not only exclusive to women in shipping, but we've also had the concerns from seafarers generally, who have said that they are not employed on board vessels. And I think it's also because the shipping is an international business and there are lots of expectations that comes with qualifications to be on board vessels, and that comes with certification, sea time, you know what I mean? So you expected that at least you'll have had some level of sea time experiences and on ocean going vessels, and not just cabotage vessels, that vessels that are doing you know, running within the coastal areas. So some companies, you know, if you would excuse them, it will be based on what their own expectations are. And I think I'll leave it at that. And since it's been an ongoing conversation, which is not only, you know, exclusive to women or female seafarers or ladies in the industry, I think what we should be looking at is how we could, you know, close that gap and ensuring that the necessary experiences are gathered by these seafarers, and so that they can position themselves very well to get in the kind of jobs that they so desire. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Vivian, for that explanation. I hear you when you speak about the need for women to step up with respect to qualifications. That is very important. It has to be something of merit, which brings to the fore the need for us to sensitize women. And personally, this will be my call to and request to the chairperson, Midstream and Maritime. Maybe the next webinar we'll be having will be training women on how to make sure that they improve on their qualifications, the right qualifications they require, and what they need to do and have in terms of qualifications, so that they don't miss out on jobs and get dropped by virtue of not being qualified for such jobs. The next matter you mentioned that resonated with me in a concerning way was that you mentioned that some shipping companies are gender inclusive. In an era where we speak about DEI and inclusivity, it should be all. So I would think that the regulatory authorities and the bodies will come up, and even associations can clamor for this, come up with the regulations and policies that support women, because we know that this is a male-dominated sector. And the truth is, if we want to bridge the gap, we have to make conscious efforts. We're not saying drop the standards, but we're saying make conscious efforts towards this. So Mrs. George Shotunde, please speak to us on this.
Okay, thank you, Madam Asia. Like I said before, while we have minute I mean, like, let me say like 2% female seafarers in the industry, is basically because of stereotyping and discrimination. What I mean by this is that, once they see that this CV or whatever is from a woman, they just mark it, like, oh, it's a woman. I'm not sure she'll be able to do this. They don't want to even look at the experience she has, in handling a cargo vessel. So sometimes I like I said, I'm speaking on myself now, not from where I work, because I know NMDA PRA does not discriminate. If they do, you will not see women at the jetties, refineries, and depots, because women are there. In short, a lot of women are in Lagos jetties and depots. So, but what I'm saying here is it limits the female seafarers' career advancement opportunities because of all these things I have listed, especially harassment and bullying. It's a traditionally male-dominated industry. So when they see a woman coming in, like, oh, I can do this job, they just have a general perception that, oh, she's a woman, she can't do it. We are the weaker vessel. And guess what? That's a big one of the biggest mistakes all these shipping companies make, because like I said before, I've been able to handle 2 or 3 cargoes, handled by female captains. And I told you I was in awe, because all my life I've been seeing male captains and all that. I have never seen women. For some reason, till last year to early this year, I have seen like 3 or 4 cargoes manned by women. So I was sarcastic. I said, oh, so they've started giving you people, they've started giving you people to move cargo. Yes, because we've joined 1 or 2 organizations. There are some other organizations like Weog, like I mentioned before. Weog have been able to project women. I have seen women that own platforms, women that own so many things in the oil and gas industry that will bring their business up front. Logistics business, maritime business. I've seen it, and I've seen women manning these organizations. So I think what could be done is, like I said before, education, learning the trade, learning from people that have been in the market, even these men that have been there, learning from them, doing so many things. I know of a woman that owns a whole oil and gas company. I'm sure you all know her, Brittany. She's not an engineer like she always says, but she's an engineer by proxy. That's what she calls herself, because she has got to learn the trade. She learned it from men. She worked with a lot of men in Mobile. She was, at some point in her career, she was the only female in that department, operations department. She was the only female. Every other person, well, they were all men. But she sailed through and broke forth. She broke the ceiling. And a lot of women have been coming out, having so many businesses in logistics and maritime and all that. And I think, like I said before, the future is female and maritime. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so very much. This brings us to the end of the panelist session. I would want to sincerely appreciate the NEC of Weog, ably led by Dr. Oladuni Owo, the National President, the Chairperson Midstream in Maritime, Mrs. Ruth Chukwukezirim, and the erudites and hardworking organizing committee. To all distinguished ladies and gentlemen on the call, it's been an educative, enlightening, sensitizing, insightful, I can go on and on, but summarily, it's been an explosive session listening to our Amazonian panelists. Thank you so very much to our erudite panelists. Thank you to our webinar attendees, and a very special appreciation to our distinguished Honorable Minister, His Excellency Adigboyega Isiaka Oyetola, ably represented by Professor Busola. At this point, I will be handing over the virtual mic to our Amazon coordinator, Mrs. Christabel Ekilcha, to take us through the rest of the webinar until I come your way again. Thank you, goodbye, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, let's give a virtual round of applause to our moderator of this section, Dame Hasia Audu. Thank you so much, and everyone that was present at the panelist section. We really had you well. Wonderful section. It was very impactful. Okay, next we'll go to the next. We've taken most of our time, and just to round up the section, we'll quickly call on Mrs. Gloria Chukwuka. She's going to take the last goodwill message. Please, Mrs. Gloria Chukwuka, if you're online, can you unmute yourself so you can do your quickly? You have just less than 5 minutes to do your goodwill message. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good
Good
afternoon. Good afternoon and happy Midstream and Maritime celebration. Well articulated, well supported by all our panelists. I'm here to read the goodwill. Okay, first and foremost, my name is Gloria Chukwuka. I'm the MD of FEM, Fountain Engineering and Maritime Solution Limited. We're here in Lagos. And I'm also the treasurer in midstream and maritime sector. So I'm here to read some of the goodwill messages. The first one is by Mrs. Joyce Shosunde. On this Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Maritime Day, we celebrate the remarkable achievements and resilience of women who continue to break barriers in this dynamic industry. Their leadership, innovation, and dedication fuel progress and inspire future generations. Here to empowering women in fostering an inclusive future where all can thrive. Joy Shotunde, manager, team lead, distribution, system storage, and retail infrastructure. GFSRI/NMAGPR. Thank you. Then the second goodwill message is from Engineer Adesinyo Omitayo. I don't know whether it's Omotayo or Omitayo. He says, I congratulate the chairperson of Midstream and Maritime, Mrs. Ruth Chukwukezrim, and the entire Weog as we celebrate the International Maritime Day. As we lead this discussion on this auspicious day, may the deliberation be fruitful. May our energy, oil and gas gain from your deliberation today. Engineer Adesanyo Omotayo, Engineering Manager, Gold Top Resources Development Limited. Thank you. That's all from me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Gloria Chukwuka. Okay, we've had a wonderful day. I'm sure we can all attest to that. It's a very lengthy one. We've learned a lot. We've gained a lot from all the whole lectures and speeches and presentations we have heard. Okay, on this note, with the permission of the chairperson, maritime, midstream and marine sector, I would like to conclude and close the webinar. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude our webinar today, I want to extend our
Sorry, moderator. Moderator, can I just say something before you conclude and we all be on our way? Can I please?
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so very much, everyone that have been on the call with us. You will agree with me that it's been an insightful session. I want to say a big thank you to our National President, Dr. Oladuni Owo, for giving us this opportunity to host this Maritime Day in Weog. It's been an amazing time. Thank you to our panelists and our moderators for such an insightful time. I want to let us know that the maritime, that the midstream sector of the oil and gas is so vast with enormous opportunities. You could see that we said we're not going to exceed an hour, 30 minutes, but here we are barely managing not to get up to 3 hours. And meanwhile, the panelists alone, they had so much to say, and that was just an abridged version. Even from the ministry, we're supposed to have an elaborate session, but because of time, we want you to know that there's just so much that we can do in the sector. In the offshore value chain, there's just so much opportunities. In the midstream, there's so much opportunities, especially now that some of the IOCs are moving into onshore. it creates more gap which poses as opportunities for us. But I'd like us to know that in subsequent webinars, we'll be having more opportunities to elaborate on some of these things. Please, the maritime sector of this maritime sector of the oil and gas has enormous opportunities for every one of us. So please join us. If you are just new here in Women, Energy, Oil and Gas, you've seen the link. We encourage you to join. And for old members, please look out for when we hold our next webinar, where we'll be able to talk in more details on the enormous opportunities in our industry. Thank you so very much. We do appreciate you for coming, and I wish you enjoy the rest of your day. And for everyone in Weog, please go to the chat room and let's hear you type in energy women. We are closing the energy gap. We are moving nation forward as we close this day. Thank you so very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Please, let's give a round of applause to our chairperson. She's the chairperson of the downstream and marine sector for the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. But before we close the webinar, we would like to call on the National President to give a final take home. So please, National President, Dr. Oladunni Owo, if you are here, please can you just unmute yourself and give a final speech. Hello, Dr. Oladunni Owo, please, if you are here, can you give a final take home?
Okay, thank you very much. Chairperson has already given the final take home. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you to all the participants. Many thanks to our minister designate. We appreciate you all. And clearly, like the chairperson highlighted, the opportunities are huge. And the challenges are also huge from what we can see. And my encouragement is that, as usual, let's see how we can also go entrepreneurial, even in this speed of the value chain. And that will definitely help us to quickly get onto the tables at all, at all points. So in consulting, we can start with consulting. Captain can help us to mentor more female to become captain. And even after the captainship, what's next? We have to be clear about, the career path, both for career women and also for business women. I'm sure the midstream and maritime sectorial group of Weog, they have more plans for webinar sessions like this, so that we can see how we can quickly key into all the new frontiers and opportunities that are coming on. There's FPSO, there's FLNG, there's opportunity to own tugboats, speed boats, jetty ownership. You can have your own ship, and so many other things like that. Thank you very much. I don't want to start. All right, thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much, our National President. You heard from the National President, Women, Energy, Oil and Gas. And as you were speaking in my head, I just recalled, sorry to take some of the time, my organization, Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, we actually regulate license, we actually grant licenses to ships and tugboats that are conveying and cargoing radioactive sources. So I just recall that this conversation is so important because most of the time I go offshore to carry out inspection. I've never seen a woman being a radiation safety officer in those boats and ships. So it's very, very important we keep having these discussions to spur and ginger women, females in the maritime industry. So I'll just give a final, to conclude the webinar. I hope everyone that has attended this webinar, I hope we've heard from all the experts and the speakers that have spoken, and I'm sure you've gotten from what they said, you've gotten vital information which have inspired you. We also want to thank everyone that has sent in questions, your contributions. It has actually enriched the webinar. It has given us an understanding of the challenges and opportunities we actually face in the maritime section. And as we move forward, let's continue to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing within the maritime sector. Together, we can navigate the complexities of the industry and drive positive change. Thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at the sector's future event. And on this note, I still remain Engineer Christabel Ekocha, and I wish you all a lovely day. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for remaining with us. Bye.
Thank you very much, Engineer Christabel. Nice hearing from a fellow engineer too. Thank you very much.
Meet you.
What's this year?
Mystery Maritime, please drop your email.
Where's our national president? Please, you're inviting her on the stage.
Mrs. Ruth, Chairperson Midstream and
Where's
Maritime. Ruth, can you hear me? Chairperson Midstream.